Hi, I'm Dr. Gary Saks, and I'm here with Theresa Schmidt today, clinical nutritionist. And we're here to talk about the kinds of questions that we've been getting here in the clinic that people have about nutritional therapy and nutritional supplements. So here at Saks Wellness Center, we see ourselves as whole body practitioners. We look at trying to help people in their entire health picture, whatever might be going on with them. And nutritional therapy is a really important part of that. Today we're going to focus on the immune system, and let's just start talking about that. So maybe we can start in and just talk about the kinds of things that people ask you about trying to strengthen their immune system.
Yep, that's the question I get probably most right now, is what can I do for myself to strengthen my immune system? So we do some diet talk. We talk about, not eating sugar and things like that. We talk about getting the dark green leafy vegetables and getting the colorful vegetables. And those are because we need the mineral we need the most is calcium. And I know that sounds off, but it's the mineral we need the most is calcium. And we get that from dark green leafy vegetables. So if somebody eats enough greens, they don't need to take calcium. But if they're not eating enough of those dark green leafies, they need the calcium.
Like maybe most people.
Most people, if they're not eating. A lot of our patients are pretty good about their salads, but the general population does not eat enough greens. And then color. People think they're going to get their vitamin C from fruit, but we need them to not eat the sugar. So we get it from the colorful vegetables, the peppers, the carrots, the tomatoes, stuff with color in it. And if we can't do that, if we can't get enough of that in, we really encourage people to take a whole food vitamin C. It's not ascorbic acid, it's a whole food vitamin C. So that's an important distinction there. So calcium and C, and then vitamin D. Vitamin D is important because it takes the nutrients out of our gut, puts it in the bloodstream so it's available when we need it. And then the essential fatty acid. That's the fourth part of the whole function there, is the essential fatty acid takes it out of the bloodstream, puts it in tissue where it belongs when it's needed. And so those are the foundation things for our immune system. Some of it we can get from our diet, others we have to take, which is vitamin D especially.
I was thinking you were making the distinction with the kind of vitamin C that most people see out in the supermarket or grocery store as being mostly ascorbic acid. And we also choose a really particular form of calcium for what we do, because as you were mentioning with food, that's a little bit different form. It's so easy to absorb compared to what we're getting off the shelf.
Absolutely. Most of the calcium we get off the shelf needs 15 to 16 enzymatic changes to get it to the form that we need it to be in. Our calcium lactate taken on an empty stomach is one exchange.
And it becomes such an important part of our immune system.
Absolutely.
When it does that. So really, someone that might find themselves just getting sick more often than they were before, pretty good indicator that their immune system isn't functioning at its peak.
It's excellent. The other thing that person needs to be careful of is how much sugar are they eating.
Talk a little bit about that. It's gotten to be pretty common knowledge sugar is not a good thing, but specifically, why is that such an issue for the immune system? A little bit of sugar, we're talking about 10 to 15 grams of sugar we can get away with, but much more than that, sugar turns the immune system off 75 to 90% for 5 hours. So if you're going to go to work or you're going to go to school, you do not want to eat sugar before you go, or anything that has sugar in it, because for 5 hours your immune system is basically turned off. Then you're that much more vulnerable to what's going around. That's a huge thing a lot of people really don't know about. And unfortunately, I know when you look at, say, somebody that's just starting out and they write down what they have for breakfast, what they have for lunch, what they have for dinner, in 5 hours they probably had sugar again.
And especially for the kids that are eating at school,
Yeah.
Their choices at school are not great choices.
Yeah.
They got a lot of carbohydrates, and they have things like French toast fingers that they're putting in syrup, or they actually have sometimes like a toaster strudel or something like that. Okay. The food children get at school, they're eating at school for breakfast and for lunch, has a lot of sugar in it and a lot of carbohydrates in it. We have to understand that is going to suppress the immune system pretty much their whole morning.
Yeah.
And then if there's a snack in the middle of it that's sugar, or somebody has a birthday treat at school that's sugar, it's going to add on to that. So we're suppressing the immune system for 5 hours. So even if they're taking good things, it still turns the immune system off.
Yeah, they're just more vulnerable, during that time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So what I think we're trying to impart to people is that they do have control of their immune systems. This gives them control. They can decide what they're going to eat, and if they can't eat as good as they should, there are supplements available that will help.
Sure.
So.
Yeah, and probably for most people, they're starting with a little bit of a depressed immune system. The supplements are something they may not have to do for long, but they probably needed to get started during this time of year, particularly. So.
Yeah, the D is really important this time of year because we're done with it. In this part of the country, we're done with D. We get no more from the sun.
Yeah.
People still think if they go outside and they work in the sun all day, they'll get some. We get none.
Yeah.
So D is really important that they have a source of that. The other thing I did just think about mentioning is stress. Stress is hugely influential on the immune system. When people are in stress, that's a fight or flight response. It's the opposite of rest, digest, and healing. So those two are kind of mutually exclusive. So when people are under a lot of stress, like right now, politically and economically, things like that, worried about the COVID, those people's immune system is also suppressed. So we have to pay attention to that too and really bolster that up.
Yeah. So we're hoping that this time that we spent here is both helpful to you and healthful to you. Here in this clinic, one of the things that we have addressed very specifically is that while it can be very well known what you should take, there are this supplement for that and this vitamin for that, but how much and when is something that becomes very specific to you as a person. That's what we specialize here. We have put together a kit, and this has the basic 4 that Theresa was talking about, plus one additional supplement that is aimed at all the major organs within the body that have influence over our immune system. So this is what we would say that everyone should be taking this time of year. The kit is available for $80, and that's a month's supply for an adult, about a month and a half if you're 5 to 12, and about a 3-month supply if you're under 5. What we're doing to try to help people, we want to get through this period and help people, is that should you decide that you want to come and be evaluated here, the entire cost of the kit will be deducted from the cost of your first visit here. So you'll get an $80 reduction off of the initial cost. So we're hoping that might be something that would help you, and we certainly welcome you to come in. If you have any questions or you want to make an appointment, then please call us, 989-732-7000, or you can contact us through the web at our website, sakswellnesscenter.com.